I'm Pio Vincenzo. This is Nifty Culture, and I have the pleasure of interviewing cosplayer, digital artist, and all around really great person, Amber Guzman. How's it going, Amber?
It's going really good today. I'm excited to be here and thank you for inviting me for this interview.
My pleasure. Thanks for being with us. We're really excited. You have your drop on Nifty Gateway this week. Your debut on Nifty Gateway, which I'm sure, all your fans are really excited about. I know that me and the other folks here at Nifty Culture are really excited about it. So I just wanted to kind of get right into this. I typically like to ask artists about their creative beginnings. So yeah, where did it all start for you? What are your earliest days creating, any kind of artwork? And can you kind of take us through, from that point to where you're at now?
Definitely. Well, I started off drawing when I was very young, and I started off drawing actually just dinosaurs and monster trucks and more like nature-y kind of things. And when I was growing up, I grew up in the best time, which is in the 90s, which all the cartoons and all of those animes. Toonami was barely starting, and so that was a fun thing to run home from like fifth, sixth grade and hurry and catch Toonami on TV. And when I saw Sailor Moon and when I started to see like Dragon Ball Z, Akira, all those old school like animes, that style of drawing like really grabbed me, and I instantly started drawing everything Sailor Moon, everything Dragon Ball Z. And then I started working on my own style. When I got into high school, I started drawing my own characters and my own like style away from Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z style of anime. And I ended up meeting a friend in high school who was equally into anime, and we started our own, manga. And then we were like, we can animate this. And so we took a class, and that teacher took us aside and was kind enough to teach us, because he was a 3D animation teacher, and he was down to help us with our 2D anime work. And he had all the stop motion cameras, all the equipment that we would have to use. And we ended up like making like a little 10-minute short video, did all the voices for it. But yeah, that's what really got me into drawing and my passion for animating. And that, yeah, if that teacher didn't help pull me aside, I don't know if my passion would have stuck as strong.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. And I think that it's really like present in your work, that sort of style. I was born in 1990, so I'm right there with you. When I was growing up, Dragon Ball Z, Toonami, like sixth grade, seventh grade, that was definitely what I was watching when I got home from school. Um,
Yes.
I think you're the first artist that I've interviewed for Nifty Culture so far, that really has run with that kind of anime and manga influence with their artwork. I'd be curious to ask you, do you feel like that sort of style of visual artwork, whether, just 2D or like an actual moving picture cartoon, do you feel like that's slept on in like the fine art world? Because obviously there's a lot of fans of that content, but do you feel that in terms of like, high art and fine art, that genre, it doesn't really get the attention that it deserves?
Yeah, in a way, I really do. It's kind of like how you saw even Disney step away from like 2D. They went straight. Everything now Disney has is either live action or 3D animation. And I mean, you see it, it's challenging. Even anime or mangas are challenging the comic book world, because people are picking up mangas because they're liking that style, that movement that comes from these pages alone. I really do think it is a style that is slowly getting taken over by the 3D world, but hopefully more artists or more people that are into anime will try to hold on to it as much as they can, and equal these markets with their artwork.
Sure, sure. I don't think it'll ever like die out, but I wouldn't be surprised if you start to see less of it at the mainstream level. But I think, fans like yourself, your fan base will always be able to keep it alive. I'd be curious to ask you, for all like the hardcore anime fans, the hardcore manga fans, is there like is there a show or a manga that is like a deep cut that you love, that you feel like, maybe a lot of manga fans haven't heard of, or maybe some deep cut fans will be like, "Oh, I love that one too." Like any kind of names that you can throw out there that people might not be thinking of?
Oh, there's a anime right now. It's called Violet Evergarden, and it's actually on Netflix. And it's been slept on. I haven't seen too many people talk about it or even like mention it. But I mean, if you're really deep into the anime world, yeah, you see people talk about it. But like just like there's a just ordinary anime fans that are just passerbyers and or people that really get into it that have been watching other shows but they're not seeing this one. And Violet Evergarden, it's amazing. It's a masterpiece in my eyes. The attention that they put on moving the characters. I mean, they move each strand of hair. It's amazing what they do with just their 2D style. And yeah, that's something that's majorly slept on, even though it's a Netflix anime. It's brought to you by Netflix, but I consider it really well.
Well, I have to watch that one then. I'm sleeping on that one. I definitely did not know about that one. So thank you for enlightening me.
Oh, you're
I'd be
welcome.
I'd be curious, does Miyazaki's work, the, Japanese filmmaker Miyazaki, does his work come into play, for Amber at any point? Like in your history, did you ever get to him? And if so, what sort of impact might his work have had on you?
Studio Ghibli, um, uh, like works like that, of course, like hardcore. Akira, those staples, Sailor Moon, these really, pioneers of anime hold. I mean, I have a tattoo of Sailor Moon on my chest. Like they hold a very deep, you know, place in my heart. And not only their struggles that they went through, and animating is hard, especially in Japan and time constraints and stuff like that. And you really give it up to these animators and these people that work so hard on these masterpieces. Yeah, they hold a very special place.
Awesome. And just one more question about like creative beginnings and creative influences. Would there be any artists or types of artwork or mediums that you would say also inspired you outside of, anime and manga?
Yes, Thomas Kincaid, Mucha is a very amazing artist. You know, the I can't remember his name. I can't believe I can't remember his name. The Happy Little Trees. What's his Bob Ross? Yeah, I'm so bad with names, but Bob Ross taught everybody how to draw and paint when we were watching him on the weekends or early in the mornings. But yeah, these artists, aside from anime artists, Thomas Kincaid, he paints landscapes and houses, and his lighting is amazing because he makes it look like it glows without there actually being lights on in these photos. And that's amazing. Like, that's hard to do. And I've always given it up to people that could be so inventive with their mediums, their artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a huge name for sure. And yeah, Bob Ross, happy accidents, right?
Yeah, it's all happy accidents. Never mistake. We will miss him.
For sure, for sure. So, let's get, I guess, to how you got introduced to NFTs. So, can you just kind of, talk about the process of getting there and maybe a little bit about what it's like releasing your artwork as an NFT?
Yeah, I don't want to like drama dump on it, you guys, but yeah, I am going through like really bad divorce, and I went through a lot during 2020 that wasn't the best, both physically and mentally for me. And um, thankfully I had Mad Dog Jones there. He's been a friend, and he was one of few that, you know, was there for me, would talk with me through these long nights. We would watch movies, and he would make sure that I didn't do anything to myself, or, you know, like, he made sure I stayed strong. And then, you know, it got to the point of, uh, you know, I'm disabled, so I'm in a wheelchair. I need 24-hour help. So leaving where I am now, it's not easy. I just can't, you know, pick up and leave. I have to find a place to live. I have to find a 24-hour nurse. I have to find a lot of help to get out of this, you know, situation that I'm in. And he actually was going through his NFT drops, and being, you know, he was doing very well. And he said, you know, your art is amazing. He's like, you have every opportunity to do things and get out there and sell your art. People would love it. And he was able to help me and introduce me into this world so that I would be able to get out of this very bad situation that I'm in. And I'm so thankful for him and everybody who's been supporting me along the way, because it was very dark. It was very dark. And that's a lot of the meaning behind my artwork for the NFTs, is like, going for your desires, or knowing what you want, and not sticking to something just because you have to. You know, it's reaching for what you know is right, your goals, your loves, your desires, you know, your passions. It's very much in each of the artworks that I've done.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, everyone can kind of connect with those themes that you just talked about. And, you know, that's great to hear that you've, you know, developed this bond with another artist that's in the space, obviously a very prominent one, Mad Dog Jones. You know, I wanted to talk about like the effect of the community factor in the NFT space. And, you know, I talked to a lot of different artists about this, and they all really say the same thing, is that the community bond is very strong, and it helps them through the highs and the lows, and, you know, it helps them get introduced. So, you know, would you say that even beyond Mad Dog Jones, you've had, you know, other like connections and other relationships in the NFT space that have been very valuable to you?
Yes, yes. I've had so many people like yourself, you reaching out and being able to meet such wonderful friends. Euphoria, Fuckrinder, Victor Mosquera, I've like uh, John Chen, Ted Chen. Like, I've met so many amazing artists, been able to connect with people that I would have never thought I would have this opportunity to. And then even the first day, like, everybody was like waifu gang, and you know, it was like such an amazing moment. And to be, you know, I was, um because of my previous relationship, I was kept very under a tight rope. I didn't make very much friends. I only had a selective few that I was able to talk to. And now to be able to go out into the world and just have everybody's support and from such wonderful people, it really means a lot to me at such a crazy time in my life.
That's amazing to hear. And, you know, that sentiment, I'm sure, is echoed right back at you from the people that you mentioned, definitely from me. And so I want to talk about Waifu Gang. So
Yes.
I, I interviewed Ted Chin last week, and I know that he's a member of Waifu Gang. Um,
Definitely.
I'd say I understand this like maybe 5%, 10%. Could you tell the people about Waifu Gang and what exactly is going on there?
Waifu gang, yes. I'm guessing you know, well, waifu means, you know, the pretty, you know, that pretty girl that you want to wife up, you know, that beautiful anime girl that you just love, or any girl that, you know, you're ready to wifey up. But but yeah, it was amazing going in there, and they looked at my characters and they were instantly like waifu creator, waifu gang, and it was awesome that they saw me as somebody who's creating such beautiful women, and I really appreciate that, and that they we're down to gang up for it and represent waifu gang. And so yeah, I appreciate everybody that posts that or puts that in their names, and it's awesome. It was truly a great welcoming.
That's awesome, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of waifu gang supporters on your NG drop this week.
I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for them.
So, I do want to kind of switch gears back to something that you touched upon, and that's your disability. Obviously, I have to imagine that it impacts your ability to make the art that you want to make. Can you talk about maybe both like the negatives, but then also maybe the positives on the limitations that are kind of created for you? One kind of theme that we talk about on this channel a lot is that limitations allow for artists to create superior work at times. Obviously not every time, but throughout history there's a lot of instances of that. So I would,
Yes.
obviously I think your limitations are as big as they get. So I'd love to, just hear a little bit about that if you're open to sharing.
Of course, yes. My illness is called muscular dystrophy. It's called limp girdle muscular dystrophy, which it's a illness. It's a hereditary illness that affects my muscles and causes them to weaken over time. And I don't create the proteins in my body to correctly like rebuild or help sustain these muscles, and so it affects many people differently, but mine mostly affects my hands, my hip area, and my legs. And so drawing is over time, like I was fine doing it, but now that I've gotten older and my illness has progressed, it's now affecting my drawing, or even my ability to just put on makeup or just do cosplay, like things that I used to really enjoy doing. It started to affect it because I can't sit up for as long, or I can't hold my iPad and my pen for as long to get these long strokes, or just to color, to sit up, to concentrate. Like everything, like it all uses muscles, so it's really difficult to do. So when one of my paintings is this woman, and she's underneath like this green water. That took 63 hours or so to do, but it might seem like a little bit like of time for certain people, but that ended up taking me months to do over like period of time, because I would only work on it for a half hour here and then take a break, and then maybe pick it up for another 20 minutes and then have to take a break. And so everything goes with like little short spurts of being able to work on these projects. But because of that, I'm so driven to get as much done as I can. Like I know that there's going to be a point where I'm not going to be able to draw anymore, just because my hands are like your fingers, everything. It's just, it's a nasty disease that really, it messes with people. And so I know that that's inevitable, but I really, that's what drives me to keep drawing, or like producing as much as I can, or even putting as much detail into these drawings, because one day I won't be able to. So I'm trying to put as much detail in, and then later on it might trickle down to just simpler and simpler, and then it won't be anymore. But I'm trying my best, and yeah, that's my outlook. Is I'm sad that I have it, but I'm driven by this disease as well.
For sure. And, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure people will find a lot of inspiration from that. Probably, I can only imagine how much you appreciate being able to create when you are creating, even if it's only for like 30 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time. And it also,
Definitely.
yeah, and it tells so much about these works that you're putting out on Nifty Gateway, like how much went into them. So I hope that, collectors will listen to this interview and kind of understand that, and then, have that in their mind when they're looking at the work, like just how much went into them.
Yes, definitely. That's exactly what I would like to show, and not only that, but for other artists that may be struggling, or people that, are afraid to step into this space, like, don't let anything stop you from your goals, not even sadness or depression, because stuff like that really that hinders you. That's an illness too, and it really sucks getting in these dark places or letting things stop you. But yeah, like my greatest advice is to keep going and really try and not let anything stop you. It really pays off, and it really, you meet amazing things and people if you really just keep going.
Sensational advice, to say the least. So we can switch to something a little bit lighter.
For
How about we
sure.
talk? Yeah, I was gonna say, how about we talk about cosplay?
Oh yes, yes, I could talk about that for sure.
I would just love to know, I've never done it myself, but I know it's like a massive, massive like cultural thing. So I'd just love to know how you got introduced to it. I'm assuming it comes from like the Sailor Moon and the manga stuff, anime and manga stuff. But yeah, what's that like kind of been like for you? Like, I don't know, could you just kind of fill me in?
Yeah, I was a big, well, I am a big Halloween fan, and so I go all out when Halloween comes around, and I love dressing up and getting into these elaborate costumes. And back in the day, I when I first went with my teacher in high school to Anime Expo, I saw cosplay for the first time there at that event at Anime Expo, and I didn't even think about dressing up as my favorite character or anything like that before seeing these people do it at this event. And after that, I was hooked. I was like, okay, I'm going home and I'm building Sailor Moon. I'm doing all of this. And so yeah, everything really started, and I'm so thankful off of that one teacher that took me, and other fellow students to Anime Expo and opened our eyes to this world. And yeah, after that, I met fellow friends, I met other creators, I started following big named cosplayers like Jessica Nagiri and Kamui Cosplay. They build full armor and these elaborate, really crazy costumes, and that's what got me into building more like that as well later on in my cosplay career. And so now I build like these crazy armor and huge things that I love to incorporate my artwork into as well, because I design my own um like style of what I want them to look like. So, and then I'm painting everything. And yeah, I haven't done that in like 2 years. I haven't made anything in 2 years just because of everything that's going on. But yeah, cosplay, it's an amazing thing. I really suggest everybody try it once in their life.
Yeah, I mean, building those costumes, that's creating art in itself. That's like art department on a feature film or something. Like, that's not to be slept on as something that's like a creative challenge, a ton of creative decisions, being made and all that.
Yes, yes. It's very much like a movable painting. Uh-huh. Or very much. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head.
Maybe next time I'll have to dress up. Yeah, I'll do a Sailor Moon one. How about that?
Yes, and then I'll be on camera too this time. I'll dress up for sure with you.
um, so, one thing I definitely also wanted to talk about is something that had a little bit of controversy, I guess, over the past week,
For
which
sure.
yeah, which were comments about like I guess blockchain energy use, or NFTs use of energy, and subsequent impact on the environment. So obviously you know what I'm talking about. Could you kind
Yes.
of give me some background, give me some color on what happened there, and we can talk about it a little bit.
Of course, yes. Yeah, I actually I had disappeared from my Instagram because I was going through everything, and I had made a coming back post, and I was talking about how I'm changing. I'm going to be moving forward with this. I'm trying to get out of this situation. I talked a little bit about NFTs, and then the next day I had posted my photos and things, but between those 2 days and there was a lot of buzz on Twitter talking right around this time, talking about, you know, NFTs, and they're so bad for the environment. You could tell everybody was wounded up on these, and my crowd isn't doesn't know too much about NFTs, or there. I mean, I was barely introducing my crowd into this, and you could tell it just went south very quickly, and I instantly had people, you know, I had friends that kindly reposted it, but you could tell like more people from their crowd and my crowd that didn't understand anything started like mass reporting my account. They started reporting my photos. They started saying like really rude stuff on my pictures and making fun of my disabilities, and it was just a lot. And I've seen other artists go through that and they handled it very well. And I should have maybe handled it a different way. But when I wrote what I wrote, it instantly stopped the harassment that I was getting, but I didn't see how I hurt the community, you know, in any way. And I really do apologize for any of that. But I was, you know, I was getting attacked, and I, you know, just thought that was you know, the best way to maybe handle it on both sides. But yeah, I do apologize for anything, and I really don't want to offend anyone with my words, or don't want anybody to think anything more of my situation than what it was.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that you know, went through that. That's a really intense kind of reaction for people to have when, you know, if you kind of do the research on it, it's a rather uninformed reaction for those people, you know, to effectively attack you for something like that, just for participating in a new technology. You know, I'm not like the top authority on this. Like, I could refer people to a million different sources. The number one source for combating this particular narrative is a gentleman named Nick Carter. That's Nick Carter. And he talks about it in the framing, like in the scope of Bitcoin, which is the original blockchain. Obviously, you know, NFTs, for example, the NFTs that you're releasing will be minted on the Ethereum blockchain. Obviously, you know, similar to Bitcoin, derived from Bitcoin in many ways. So, you know, the long and short of it is that that narrative has been debunked over and over again. That narrative was actually presented in the early days of the internet. If you look back, like before the internet, there was the narrative that the internet was going to take too much power. And just for the sake of, you know, if any of your audience is watching, just for the sake of educating them for a quick sec, I have a few notes. And basically that blockchain technology incentivizes renewable energy, clean energy, because it actually buys energy that would otherwise be wasted. So most of the energy that we produce, because producing energy and storing it is so challenging and complex, and human beings haven't mastered it yet, it actually gets wasted. And thus that incentivizes miners to set up shop in places where a lot of energy is wasted, because then that wasted energy can be monetized. So obviously it's a complex topic. Obviously there's layers to it, and people really need to get introduced to crypto and blockchain and Bitcoin and the whole thing before they can truly grasp that. But I hope if any of your audience, any of the people that were lashing out like that are watching, that gives even 1% clarity, so they can understand there was nothing unethical about you joining the NFT space. There isn't anything environmentally wrong with using blockchain technology, and that ultimately it actually incentivizes clean energy and will be a net positive on the environment in the long run.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for explaining that, not only to them but to me as well. I really appreciate all that helpful information.
You're welcome. But back to you. Let's wrap by talking about this nifty gateway drop. So can we talk about, you know, any individual artwork that you'd want to share anything on, or, you know, if you don't want to necessarily talk about the work and let it speak for itself, just the drop structure and where when people can buy, you know, any and all things related to your nifty gateway drop.
Yeah, each photo does have its own theme and story behind it. I know when they post my page up on Nifty Gateway. You should be able to read the story behind each one and kind of understanding the meaning behind them. But yeah, they each have their own meaning and story and color set, color theme, and it's all just on the just the emotions of, escaping or curiosity or your desires. And I really just wanted to express myself and recreate some of my, even some of my older art. I took some of my older art and recreated that with this drop. And so I'm just so thankful to be able to do this and show people that expression of my work. But yeah, each one is very special to me.
Awesome. And where can people find you, on Twitter, Discord? Where can they find you?
On my Twitter, I'm at Amber Coco Chan, and I'm normally on there. I'm trying to post more on there. I'm getting the hang of it. I've been on Instagram for too long, and now I'm trying to do the big switch over to Twitter, because I know that's where a lot of amazing artists spend more of their time on there, and so I'm really trying to be a part of that world. But yeah, and on Instagram, I'm Amber Kohaku Chan. You could find me on Instagram at Amber Kohaku Chan.
Awesome. And the drop is this Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yes, very exciting. Yes, I'm very excited to have this drop this Friday and have everybody be a part of it and be there and support it. Thank you so much.
This Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Get after it. There's multiple pieces. Heart and soul has been poured into them. Get after it, NFT community. Right, Amber?
Yes, thank you. And if you get one, I really appreciate it. You're really, you're blessing me with so much support that I needed in a dark time, and you have no idea how much it means to me. I'm thankful for you, for this podcast, for everybody listening, for anybody out there that's going to be hearing this later. Like, thank you all so much. Really, thank you.
And thank you for coming on, Amber. It was a real pleasure. Everyone, please check out Amber's work and follow her on those different social media platforms. We'll put the links in the description as well. And obviously the drop's on Friday. And please subscribe to this channel, Nifty Culture, and follow us on Twitter at NFT Culture. But Amber, it was a real pleasure. I hope you have a very prosperous drop. I'm sure that you will. And really can't wait to see any additional work that comes out after this.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate everything. It was a joy talking to you today, really. And I hope we get to do this again in cosplay. We have to do this again. And you have to dress up.
You're going to hold me to the cosplay.
Yes, you promised. So we have to do this again. Everybody heard. So we have to do this again in cosplay. And I hope we get that chance. And I really appreciate it. I had a wonderful day thanks to you.
Likewise, Amber. And for you, I'll do the cosplay thing.
Yay! Thank you. Yes.
All right. Catch you next time.
Thank you.